There you go. That's my mother.
What are you doing? What are you doing, you old bag?
What kind of way is that to talk to your grandmother?
Best way.
Yeah, the best way. We got a good thing going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me give you a noogie.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how great she's been.
She's been awesome.
She's been doing the dishes.
Yeah, so my nose is running and I don't have anything.
There's tissues.
I got
I'll give them.
tissues. I got them specifically.
Tissues with lotion.
They're last time you were here, I kept pulling off toilet paper.
Yes, but you had some.
I have some tissues this time.
Do you have like chronic runny nose?
Apparently, when I come here,
Gross.
my nose never runs in Parker Ridge.
Oh, okay.
Must
Now
be
it's gonna start going downhill.
must be the carpet.
Do you want to match me?
There you go. It's awesome.
Annie's got a condom on her head.
Okay.
That's no, I'm
No, wait, he's
videotaping. So
videotaping.
I've taken the pictures.
Oh, okay.
I'll
I'm gonna blow
take
my
a
nose.
picture of you.
So we'll take video of you blowing your nose now. But you've been good. You've been a good girl.
You've been great.
I guess you've been a good boy.
Well,
Wait, hold on.
while Sam and Kourt are here, what I'd like to know is what they would like to know about you.
Oh, I don't give a shit. So when did you start nannying for that family?
When did I?
You nannied for a family
Oh
really
yes,
young,
and I
right?
was 13.
That's wow.
Yes.
13. They trusted you,
He certainly did.
and you lived with them, right?
Yes. And I was responsible for 2 boys. This is the first, my first place that I worked.
Mm-hmm.
But then I went to another family after the children in that family
Grew up.
grew right.
So.
No, not that they grew up,
But they were
yes,
just.
they were in somebody else's hands. So.
Yes,
but I had a lovely
somebody
time,
raised
yeah.
her. So, and you lived with them? You lived with both those families?
It is hard for me to believe now, because I'm pretty sure it was 13, 14, 15, 16, yeah, because I was 6 or just 17 when I graduated from high school.
Mm-hmm.
So for those first 2 years, I was in a special wing of that house with those 2 boys, one of whom was 5 and one of whom was 3. And it was my responsibility. It just seemed, and they were wonderful people. Sam, I can't think of his last name, but he wrote plays for Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
And his wife was an opera singer.
Oh.
They were very, very good to me. But I would be very rare when I would be allowed in the living room.
Huh.
But when they found out I was having a boyfriend once in a while, down there,
Oh, were they mad?
Then she said, okay, if you have, I don't even remember now what his name is, so let's say Patrick.
Patrick. That dog.
Yeah. But anyway, that we had to sit in the living room, and then she came down and, would check on us.
So
and
you
that
guys
was
weren't getting
before
handsy?
Osmond was paying any attention to me whatsoever.
Oh. Well,
And I
you
almost
were
didn't know he
13 and he
existed,
was
right.
19, so
He
that's
was-
probably appropriate that he wasn't paying attention to you.
Yeah, I think he'd already enlisted in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
And I have these wonderful books that he wrote every day. I've got
Oh, letters?
3 tomes of, yes, letters.
Can we read that?
Sure. I didn't bring them with me though.
But, well, at some point, can we read that?
Yes, I think you would be someday.
I would wanna
you'd
read
be
those.
Interested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someday. Wait, I have to wait.
Someday. Well, you don't have to wait. As
I'm
far
interested now.
as I'm concerned. Well, maybe you can pick one up, or your father can when he takes me back.
Yeah, I would love to read. Well, I mean, I would probably want to read them with you guys.
Okay.
So
we'll keep
sometime
there
when
and we'll read. All right, we should make an arrangement for that, though, because it is really, Osmond made, a wonderful, oh, this is where my Alzheimer's comes in, anyway. He was a good writer, and he wrote every day where he was, and at first he was writing to another girl. And then he found out she was seeing another guy.
Oh.
And then he wasn't paying any attention to me until I was about 15, I think.
Okay.
However, I had plenty of others, so it didn't matter.
That's great.
Well, I was working in Blue Hill, so
So
some of the Blue Hill boys.
So do you read those letters from Pat? I feel like does that help with your memory, reading those letters?
Yes, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So do you read the letters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But it takes a long time to read those letters because those books are about that thick.
Mm-hmm.
When your father comes, you can see.
Mm-hmm.
There were 3 books. I've read them all, and I'm going to read them again.
That's a nice
Oh, it
keepsake to
is.
have.
Imagine that. I mean, his first book, his letters were, he had a girlfriend, but she found somebody else. And
A lot of finding other people in this
Yes.
history here.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
So anyway, he was writing to her, and he's very conscientious, and like making sure that his parents knew where he was and all that kind of thing. So he was a very good boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he liked the Navy, and it's a very good thing he went in the Navy because that paid for his college education.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have been extremely difficult for
To,
his parents. I mean, he might still be paying for it now
yeah.
because there were, there just wasn't that much money. Claude,
Yeah.
his father, worked in the, what do I want to say? Not the drugstore. Where they get,
Liquor store.
You can't blame this one on the Alzheimer's. In the not drugstore.
Claude, I don't think ever touched any liquor, but he worked in a liquor store.
Oh, he worked in the liquor store. Okay.
And Rena said, his wife certainly didn't touch any liquor, but anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And Jane used to get a ride. Jane was a cheerleader at Elsworth High School, because that was later on. And she used to get a ride home with Claude.
Yeah.
And he was the most wonderful man. He just had a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
And Rena, his wife, had some problems, not when they first were married, but later on she had quite a few problems. And then he died, and I was trying to think, I can't remember now what he died of, if it was a heart attack or what.
When did he die? Because I never.
No, he was
He died of a heart
it's
attack.
very.
It was
Yeah,
1965.
you wouldn't
Oh, it
remember.
was.
There's no question about that. Rena, and I guess you wouldn't remember Rena, but she lived, his wife, and she lived, I think she was in her 90s when she died, but
Oh,
her
really?
brain wasn't good.
So she would. When did she? We were alive when she died.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
You don't ever remember going over to the Austin's house? Do you remember Austin at all? You
Oh,
would have
yeah.
been little.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh wait, Graham B.
Graham B.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Graham B. I just don't know her as Rena. Okay, I know
Yeah,
Graham
right,
B.
right.
Yeah.
I know her as Rena, you know her
Yeah.
as Graham B. And Graham B is much more fun. And and Austin was just wonderful to her, and Claude, of course, had been wonderful to her. So, and then gradually, her mind went, not totally, and she was in bed for quite a while. And then I can't tell you exactly what she died of, but things accumulate.
Mm-hmm.
You
No, yeah, I remember.
Osmond may know. He should know.
I remember
When his mother
going
died. You remember going over
to her
there?
house in Ellsworth, right?
Yep.
We used to go sometimes on Christmas or around
Yes,
Christmas.
yes.
I remember there were a lot of recliners. That's my memory.
There were a lot of.
But I do remember that, yeah.
Okay, good. I'm
Yeah.
glad you
And
do.
she'd give us little gifts.
Yeah.
But that's funny. I never knew her name was Rena. So how did Granby? How did that name?
How to Granby?
How did she get
I
that
think
name?
I think somebody decided that would be a good term for us.
Yeah.
You know, the grandchildren.
Yeah.
Granby. You know, we're not calling her Mrs. So and So
Yeah.
or whatever. And she liked that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Granby.
It's a good one. So back to your childhood. Why was it so great?
It was so good. Number one, freedom. Just, we lived, that house that Gran and my grandmother before her had was in the family for a long time. That was one of the first houses built in Surrey. So then in the 30s, a little while before I was born, Mom and Dad had been dating. And then, guess what? Found out Mom was pregnant.
Oh shit. Shoot.
With me. So, they had, Dad moved in with Mom. And it really was good because he was very good with outdoors work or repairing anything. And that's what he was a carpenter, really. And we had chickens, so we'd go in the hen house and get the eggs and bring them out. And we had a cow, you know, so and a pig. So really, it didn't cost a lot for the food that we ate because we had to feed them. So that cost something. I mean, the animals we had to feed. And Jane and I there was a hen house, and Jane and I would climb up on top of that hen house. We could sit there just as in the barn, I think I told you she did some nude dancing.
She did nude dancing in the barn. That's my kind of girl.
That was my telling her.
So you
So,
do
we just, she and
You just made her do-
wouldn't trade those years for anything
Yeah.
because of just the way the world was then. It was a much safer world, you know, and
Yeah.
and we had owned
Sorry.
a lot of land there, and so we would cross, you know, the brook. If you go Surrey, you
Oh,
gotta go across the
Yeah.
bridge.
on
To get
Lynn and
to
Uncle Bob's
Ellsworth.
house used to
Yeah, I
be
think
along
that's
the
right.
brook.
That's right. And Gran had lived in that before
Oh, right.
before they did. But all of that land, if you took a walk in the woods, Lorna and I did that I think last year. All of that land did belong to us. I really do not know who it belongs to now. But and Osmond used to go skating there, and that was before he practically knew I existed, but there was a whole group of them that did. And sometime during that time, during World War II, we were in Freeport for, I think, 2 to 3 years. And Dad worked at the plant, you know, I don't know what he was making, but they were war materials with a lot of other people. And that's the first time that our family had any money, really. I mean, he got money because he worked, wherever he worked, he had money, but he was paid pretty well then. And so that helped a lot when we came back, and I started, you know, go to high school and all of that. So I think I was in the 8th grade. I did come back and was in the last of the 7th grade and in the 8th grade. and they had the sub-primary, but they skipped the sub-primary because of what I already knew. Well, now you need to ask me a question.
Oh, I need to ask you a question?
Well, I don't care who asks me the question.
I'm trying to think. So how many men did you have over when you were nannying?
How many men? I didn't have any men.
How many boys? I'm just trying to, Johnny, and can't think of the name of all, no, I didn't have that many because I knew who I really, You knew who you were. So
yeah,
wait,
no, but
wait.
that wasn't Osmond, because he was in the Navy.
Oh, so there was another person that you had your eye on?
Yeah, well,
You're a little hussy.
I was fussy. Not a hussy, I was fussy.
So when was your, when did you first have your eye on Ozzy? Because it was early, right?
When did I first what?
Have your eye on Ozzy.
Oh,
You
when
used
I was a junior
to junior.
in high school.
Oh, I thought you were younger. For some reason, I thought you used to like see him when you were
No,
younger.
well, I had boyfriends before that, but he was in the service. He was in the Navy, and he had a very serious girlfriend, Thelma. When
Awesome.
he came back, she had already found somebody else.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
You
So-
slid
so
right
then
in.
There was a store, Forrest Carter's store, and across the road was Willard Kane's store.
Oh, we've heard about these two. Yeah.
Okay. So he would just stand over there, and I would be at the post office, and he'd just be kind of looking. But of course, he wouldn't come across because that would
'Cause
be
he
Forrest
hated.
Carter's store.
Yeah. So he
Funny
knew
I
who
would
you were.
marry a man like that.
So he knew who you were at that point.
Yes, he was beginning to recognize.
He was beginning to recognize this hottie over here.
Didn't you see? You used to tell the story of seeing Dad walk across the field when you were a little kid.
That's what I thought.
Didn't you
Yeah,
ever-
there was
didn't
something
you-
when you were little.
That walk across the field
When you were little.
when
But
I was
6.
5, but
Yeah. So what? Tell that story. What do you mean when you were 5? What? Dad would walk across a field, or you knew who Dad was then?
Yeah, when you were little.
I don't remember. I know that I walked up the field because I used to walk with Aunt somebody or other, Aunt Airy, and she took a dog out. But I know I was only 5 or 6 then, and we walked
Yeah, I
up into the
remember
field.
at 3:30.
I remember you saying something about
Christmas Day.
Yes.
recognizing Ozzy at a young age, having like a little
Yes.
crush on him when you were little.
Yes, but not
But
when I was
yeah.
5.
3:30 in the morning.
No, that's what you said at one point. You were. Well, this is what my memory.
Yes, yes. So it would have been just a little bit later.
Yeah.
What else can I say?
Well, you were gonna tell us. I thought she was gonna tell a story. Can't remember.
I was going to tell you what?
You were gonna tell some story. I can't remember now. About the 2 stores in Ozzy.
Oh, let's see.
Him beginning to recognize
Yes.
blossoming teenager.
Yes, that's a nice phrase, a blossoming teenager. But it was a while after that before we actually got together, and I really, he may or may not remember. You know, I told you that he would stand across the road and
He wouldn't go
for
over.
me, right?
Yeah.
And we went, you know, we were in Freeport for a few years, and then came back. And of course, I was older then, and I was in high school.
Oh wait, your family moved to Freeport for a little while?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. Yes. So that Dad finally had a good job making whatever for the war effort. So, and I went to school in Freeport. I think it was for the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Maybe into the 7th. May have been the 3rd.
And then you went back to Surrey.
when we came back, yeah, went to Freeport for those. I liked Freeport a lot.
I can imagine.
And then we did end up, Osmond was a manager in Freeport.
Yeah, I knew
But
that.
prior to
That's what
that-
I thought you were talking
right,
about.
and
Yeah.
prior to that, we were in Mars Hill, and prior to that, we were in East Corinth with very little heat,
Ew.
except for what we could stir up for ourselves.
Oh, that's great. She still got it.
And all of those played, for me, it was all wonderful. I mean, I liked East Corinth, well, Osmond liked East Corinth too, but the pay was very low. But he did a very good job. It didn't take long before he was recognized throughout as one of the top, town managers. And so he didn't have any, we were there in East Corinth, I think, maybe 5 or 6 months. And then he found out that Mars Hill was looking for a town manager and went for the interview. And that is quite a ways from East Corinth. And I think from East Corinth to Surrey took 3 or more hours. So he got the job there, and yes, I was pregnant when we went there. We didn't waste any time,
I know, 9 months after the wedding, right?
Now I'm glad.
You're glad.
Yes. Very glad. They have wonderful children, don't you think?
Yeah, I'd say so. Not bad. Could have done better, but what are you gonna do?
No, I couldn't. No, I could not. When I think of Len and Lana and Cameron, oh my gosh. I don't know. Just so important in my life, in our lives. Osmond's and mine. And of course now with the situation with Osmond, it is so important that I have these wonderful children and grandchildren. Yes. So I feel very, very fortunate that really, well, I lost a baby, full-term baby, but other than that, just not too many things, but what anybody else would experience. Nobody has a completely perfect life by any means.
Yeah. You've had a pretty wonderful life.
Okay, is that enough?
That's enough.
Yeah, I'm getting bored.
Oh, tough shit!
She picked up some of my language along the way.